Hello viewers, welcome back to the brand new episode of Campus Eye. I am Veronica, your host for today. And today here with us we have Mr. Akshay Panikar, who is the alumni of Aloysius deemed to be university. He has done his BSc from this college and his MSc from Mangalore University. He's also the founder of Ankuram Trust 10 Students Coaching Class. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think I also want to share one more interesting fact about him. That is, he is well versed in 6 Indian languages. Is that right? Yeah. And when I read through your biodata, it was very interesting to know about that. So can you just tell us like how you knew, how you started to learn about all those languages?
I'm basically a Malayali, so you're born a Malayali, then there is an upper hand of having Tamil and Telugu that comes along. And I am a movie buff as well, so I watch a lot of movies. Even when all my team is working day and night, I will take some 3 hours and watch a movie. So I love watching movies. And South Indian languages, Hindi, English, Korean, whatever it is, I am into it. So I think I picked up language from there. And my mother is also somebody who gave me an introduction to all that. So that's how.
It's very interesting to know because as a young child when I was growing up, I also had this interest of learning languages, and so far I know only 3 languages, but then I look forward to learning more languages. And I have been learning German but not practicing it, so I don't know much, but yeah.
I have not reached to that level.
No, just like Indian languages 3, that is I think Malayalam, English and Hindi, that's all. But you have inspired me. When I saw that biodata, I was like, oh, I should learn more languages. But anyways, as we are moving forward, let's know more about your 10 students coaching class, which as we said earlier, you are the founder, right?
Yeah.
So how was it sprouted? How did you dream about it? I've heard that being an Aloysian, you were inspired a lot from your teachers over here. So can you say more about that?
Inspired. More than that, they shaped us. So they gave us a room to make mistakes. So I think that was where we all started exploring things. So we came here with I came from a background where I wanted to get into medical but couldn't, and I came with a huge disappointment to Aloysius. And I came here and a new world opened up. So that was very overwhelming for me. All of a sudden so much freedom is given. They allow you to make mistakes. They allow you to try everything that you want. So I think that gave us a little more opportunity to explore ourselves better. So I kept on exploring whatever I could, and out of that I found an interest in education and I wanted to bring some kind of change. I think again it was Lawrence sir and Hemachandra sir and Sureshnath sir, from our departments, and they were all people who guided us through this process and said, they were the people who I think back in 2013, 12, 13 itself, they had told me that you're not somebody who should be inside 4 walls, you should get out. And then they pushed me out, literally. They have pushed me out, and that's how we started exploring new things. So I think everything starts from there, from exploration. And that's how it started. I started exploring. I always had this thing of finding the root cause of problems. So that gave me another insight in finding the societal issues, trying to identify, and then I realized that education plays a huge factor there. So then gradually the interest was there, and because I have a lot of exposure from my mother who was in before her marriage she was actually studying MA psychology back then. So her interest in psychology it seeped through me, and I started understanding concepts and went deeper into the education system, tried to find out where it connects to the society, how to rectify the problem. So it was again finding the root cause. So it all started from there, and I think in that due course when I was preparing for UPSC exams as well, so that gave even more exposure to my thought process, and I found a lot of people, met a lot of people there, and they were all from different backgrounds, and then I came back to Mangalore, and during that process it was literally a churning process for me to identify what I wanted to do, how to go about it. And then when I started with 10 students again, I think at one point everybody told that a coaching class where you take 10 students is not economically feasible. Yeah. So then I was like, no, I want to study where the issues are, like, you know. So initially we started off 10 students with that idea that, you know, it's a research program for us. So it is still a research institute for us rather than calling it a coaching class. We have given it a name coaching class because that works in the market. But for us it is a research program which we are still researching in. And I have a beautiful team who helps me through that. So,
yes. As you said, 10 students, right? I am a homeschooler. Like I was still doing, I did not go to school, into a regular traditional school. I did my homeschooling. So something that I learned from there is that I got personal attention. I was personally taken care. So was that something that you wanted, like just keeping 10 students, or is it like, you know, you could have kept more as like the society was saying, like usually people will take as much as possible so you can earn more. But then I think your objective was something different. So can you?
So again, you know, when we started 10 students, the whole concept was of trying to understand those students who belong to that weaker section. I wouldn't say weaker, but who's not given the attention in school or college, and we have to help them out. So the first 2 years we focused only on 75% and below. So we only gave admissions to 75% and below. We did not cater to anybody else, and we said all the students who are coming in, we will understand them in depth. So we need to understand them first, then we can help them out. If we set a pattern and say you come and study with us, that's not how it goes. So the first 2 years was only to understand those mindsets of the children, what is their difficulty, how to analyze them, then how to train the teachers according to that. Then it came to, you know, it's still a research program where we still understand the child in depth, his skill sets, what he is good in, he or she is good in, and in what way they can go forward in life, their career counseling. So it starts with identifying their problems at the root cause. From there we take it up till career counselings, and I'm literally talking about giving career mentorship as well. Okay. Yeah, so it's a huge program that we have designed because of this 2 years of, and I think it's been like 6 years right now since the coaching classes started. And before that 4 years I was in research in lines with neuroscience and psychology. So I had to bring all these concepts in education, and then that helped me better to view and help these children. So somewhere I felt that started giving us results. You know, we could bring a child. Initially it was definitely a difficult process because financially also you have to think of. And when you get children in, you have to be very much careful of what education you're giving them. So we take care of everything, so including their behaviors, their routines, their time management, or their academic skill sets, everything. So right from the beginning till their career counseling, everything is taken care of.
As you were talking about different areas of the child's development, which is like a holistic development. So is your coaching classes like focusing on their physical growth, like not just the mental and the educational part of it? What about a child should there's a quote where we say a happy child is a person who can play and do everything for a fun. Like it's not just, it should not be about just study. So their development should happen in all the areas. So what about I saw in your Instagram, I think there were so many short reels of how the children were playing and also I was interested to know more about it. What about those kinds?
Yeah, so again, when you say happy child, more than that, we would like to say we'd like to give a purpose for the child. Right? So it starts with making the student think, and if you have to make the student think, then the instrument that we are working with is the brain, and brain is a part of the body. So we need to take care of the body and the brain and the mind and all of these things, right? So when you say about physical health, we definitely do take care of it because see, me myself, when at least a year back, I had issues with concentrations. I was not able to have a long period of attention span. And then I went to a doctor, and because my sister is an Ayurvedic doctor, her name is Dr. Archana. So when I was, just talking to her, she said maybe you need to get a blood check done. So I went and did a blood checkup, and I realized my vitamin B and D was low. So then the doctor pointed out that, if it is low, then definitely you'll have an issue with concentration. And that's when I realized how important it is. We were already doing that in our coaching class, but for me personally, how much of a difference it makes. And then I started taking care of the health and the kind of food that I have. And that started having an impact in my health, which I also saw to it that students also start taking care of their health. So in fact, we've started giving them suggestions. We can't tell them, please do this, but we have at least pointed out for fact that we have told it to the parents that, these are the issues that your child is facing, please get a checkup done. So the parents have to, we involve the parents in the process throughout the program. So we always keep an update of a child, how he is at home. So sometimes we have this thing where, we directly visit the child's home. Yeah, so to see how the child is at home, is he organized there or not. So you might have noticed as well, when the children come to the coaching class, right from the way they keep their slippers matters to us.
Yeah.
So it's not about being strict, it is more to do with the kind of mentality they build up. See, if you can't take care of your slippers, what will you take care of your career? So if you're arranging your slippers properly, it's a simple psychology. When they come, they keep their slippers properly. The next thought that comes into their mind is, what will sir ask today? That's a normal psychology thing that we've utilized there, and it's not something that I've invented or something. It's been there for ages together. Our parents have been telling it to us.
We are just not following it.
It has an impact.
Yeah.
So we need to look at those small things and nurture them through that. So more than saying that whether they're happy, because I'm somebody who believes that whether you're sad or happy, you need to have a purpose. Yes, that purpose is very important, and we need to help them through that. We need to help them to think, and for that you need a good health, you need a good mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all of that.
Yeah. So like you were also saying about individually you going and visiting their houses. Yeah. So do you have some studies or something that you do for individual attention, or like to know more about the individual child?
Okay, so right from the beginning when the student joins us, so the first thing that we usually do is we do a clear analysis of the child. So when I say analysis, we do a personality check, we do an aptitude testing, and that is briefed to the teacher. So the teacher, before coming into the class, knows exactly what kind of child is there in the class. Yeah. So the teacher has a very clear vision of how to take the class. So like for example, if there is a child who is having a spatial difficulty, when I say special aptitude, imagination, or if some students have problem with numeracy. So again, we are able to find out what their issues are at a deep root level, and we are catering to that. We take that and we tell the teachers that, please do the class in this way. So me as a strategist, what I do is I tell it to each and every teacher, this is how you need to approach with the child, have an approach with the child. That again, they have something called as a learning session. So after the class, 1 hour they spend with us in just sitting and studying by themselves, right? And during that phase, we have a proper chart where we observe their body language, how they study, we chart every little detail of it, and that is again reviewed, and we collectively put all these things together, including their evaluation, so their test series or whatever is there. We take all of this information in that 1 month, how much growth is there, and that the teachers will work on again for the next month. So this growth will be seen. So we have children who come with 30%, 40%, 3 subjects fail, and by the end of the year we have them passing all the subject with 80-90%, wow. Cracking CET, getting into engineering colleges. So we have seen that change. And it's probably because of, definitely I have a beautiful team who's doing it, but it's also with the model that we have set and the scientific research that has gone behind that. So that is how much in detail we look into each and every child. Even though it is a group class, we have designed a format by which we can understand each and every child in the class itself. Now, in fact, this year onwards, we're taking it to schools. So we are approaching schools and having tie-ups with them and doing it at their schools.
Oh, wow,
with 30-40 students.
Yeah, that would be really wonderful, because even after like what you were sharing now, I feel like the movie Tare Zameen Par is coming live, because like individual attention, and then in that movie how Ishan is like individually taken care by Amir Khan, and his way of learning style is different, so he's taught in that way. So when you were sharing about that, suddenly I was like I felt like I'm watching that movie again. So maybe like you are acting as that Amir Khan of in real life. But then yeah, it's really inspiring, because in today's world we need those kind of people who cater to the individual attention of each child. Because I, being a homeschool, as I said earlier, I know how much it helped me out. Because as when I was going to school, I went to school till 6th standard, I think. So being in school, I was just an average student, and maths, I used to hate maths. I never understood maths, and I think it was very hard for me to understand maths. But when we started homeschooling, the way of learning changed. I was taken care according to my learning style. So that helped me. So still I'm learning, like every day you learn something, right? So still, I won't say that I'm perfect in maths, but I think slowly and steadily I have become better from what I was. So I'm sure what you are doing for the children in your coaching class, it's really helping them out. And the concept of how you used to take 75% and below. So can you talk a little more about on those lines?
See, what happens with students below 75, I mean, I was somebody who was at that level. So for me, 10th standard was 63%. And I proudly say that because I was somebody who used to like studying or like learning in depth. So I wanted to go in depth. So I still remember going to my teacher and asking what is it, she was explaining something about vaporization. And she was talking about how water, boils at 100 degree and becomes vapor and all of that. And I'm just looking at my desk where water was spilled. When I was drinking water, the water spilled down. And after some time when the class was going on, that water was not there. And I did not touch it. So my question is, this did not reach 100 degrees Celsius. How did this evaporate from here, right? So, and then when I went and asked the teacher, and the teacher was like, first you study what is there in your textbook. See, I am somebody who likes going to depth and understanding what really is happening. Yes, absolutely. I am a very kinesthetic learner. So I would like to go down and understand every little detail of it. And my learning pattern was that. So when somebody said, no, you study what is there in the textbook. But again, this question was always there with me. So I think I got the answer when I came to Aloysius degree first year. In fact, Lawrence was somebody who gave me the explanation for it. So he came up and said, I asked this question to him. And he was like, you need to read a little more about evaporation and vaporization being two different things. And then it hit me that, okay, it's two different concepts altogether and how the science behind it works. So I always carry my questions. I don't leave it behind. So for me, getting down to the root cause is very important. That is my learning style. So every little child who's out there has their own learning pattern. So we need to help them identify their own learning pattern, nurture that. See, you can't put everybody in the same box and say, you study like this. Yeah. They all have their own learning patterns, right? You study in the way you want. We will help you through that journey. That's the only thing that we can do for them. Otherwise, we're just making them into another machine. Yeah. Right? So
it's like you can't ask a fish to climb a tree.
But yeah, again, like what you said, with children, we need to know what is so unique in them. And we need to nurture that uniqueness in them rather than saying we'll put everybody in the same box. So everybody has their own way of learning, understanding, experiencing. I fight a lot with my friends. With the same word, probably I would have understood a word in a different way. My friend would have understood it in a different way. His perspective will be different. My perspective will be different. And we fight over it. And then finally we'll come to a conclusion that, okay, I was wrong or he was wrong. We keep having this thing. So I think, again, whatever it is that we need to get down to the uniqueness of each person, how they understand things. There needs to be a space to make mistakes and say, okay, I've made a mistake, I want to learn again in my own way. And that my own way needs to be our main target.
So, but then if you are only focusing on 75% and below,
that was only in the initial 2 years. So that we can understand those students who are not able to score, because I was at that level. I wanted to know many more students of that kind. And when we help them through that process, we realize there is an option. So we can teach them in another way. And then we built a system of KVAR. So we have this teaching pattern where we take every topic through kinesthetic, visual, auditory, reading, writing. So every little step of it, every topic that we teach, now the child doesn't have to know the technicalities of this. He just needs to go through the experience of learning a subject and visualizing it, and then getting into the reading writing part. You can't ask them to start, suddenly jump from one section to another section and say, now you start reading by yourself. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. So in the first 2 years, we researched this thing, built a model, and now we cater to all the students from all the percentage. But in fact, again, that is a very primitive way of categorizing students. We need to be able to categorize them based on their skill sets. Yeah. I'm talking about academic skills. Yeah. How are they able to answer critical level questions or analytical level questions? So you can help them when you know they are learning in a memory level or an analytical level. From that level to the next level, we can help them through that. But if you say this is a 90% and this is a 70% student, then you're missing the point.
Yeah. And I think in today's world, more than the percentage, it's more about the skills that you have when you go for a job and all. They ask more about those things, right?
Definitely, because skills definitely do matter. We all are here because of the skills that we have garnered all these years. But unfortunately, in India, we have to accept the fact that population is really high. So your cutoff is the first line of filtering.
Yeah, for
for anything, for whether it be college admissions, whether it be school, from one school to another school, they all look at, because there are number of people. Yeah. Schools, colleges, jobs, you take any job for that matter. See, I'm not saying corporate jobs for that way, government jobs or research background when they go for, when they're going to a much more technical field, definitely first line of filtering is their percentage, because minimum percentage, whatever they are saying, like let it be 60% or 70%, you've put in that effort. That's all that they want to see. Are you putting in that effort to come up to that level, right? So if you're somebody who's putting in so much discipline and that much of effort you're putting in for some activity that you want, it says a lot about you, right? So marks is important, but how they take marks is even more important. Are they by-hearting? Are they copying? Are they going to understand every little detail of what they're learning, experiencing it, applying it? That matters.
So how is your coaching class helping them? And like most of the students by heart, but then how is it helping?
Again, like during the learning sessions also, when I said we observe the child, we tell them you are by hearting. In fact, I'll tell you an example. There was this one student who came, this is some example I usually tell, because that was where it was a shock for me, because when the student came in, she said, "Sir, I'm very good in mathematics. I want to score so much in." She said, "I want to score 100 out of 100." She was a 93% student, and as I spoke to her, I realized that she's by-hearting mathematics, right? So what I asked her was, "Can you tell me Pythagoras theorem? Write it down." And she took a paper and started writing A, B, C, D. She drew the triangle fast. She wrote and she, "Sir, done." I think within 2 minutes she wrote and gave it to me. And I said, okay, fine. I just took the triangle, A, B, C, D, I made it to W, X, Y, Z. She wrote it twice. She didn't get an answer. What was even more a shock for me was when the student, below the triangle, I saw figure 2.6. From the
textbook.
So in that much of depth, they're literally putting their heart and soul in by hearting. So we identify these things, tell it to the children, and this same child could score really well in mathematics because we helped her go down to understanding level of it, tell her what the issues are, and both we have to tell it to the child as well as the parent. Involve them also into the process and say, this is what is going wrong. And till 10th it may work. First PU, second PUC, again it will be an issue. Forget, if they are getting into engineering or any technical field, again it will matter. Yeah. So we are not looking at just 10 standard marks. We are looking at what career they are getting into. Will it help them there or not? Whatever they are learning, even if it is mathematics, small things, big things, whatever. So it definitely does matter. So we help them at that minute level as well. So we identify it with them.
Okay. You have like each subject teacher, or like a single teacher takes all the subjects for that?
So we definitely have a team of teachers who are at least masters and B.Ed in their subjects. So only those people are allowed to take class with us. Okay. Learning guides are there. So every student has, not every student, but a batch has a student guide. So that student guide sits with the child, It's more like a learning assistant kind of a person who sits with the child and helps them recognize their issues and all of that. But they're all masters and above, because see, it's not about just telling what is there in the textbook. It is to build a perspective in a subject, and that matters a lot. Yeah.
It's wonderful to hear. Like, I think whatever you talked till now about individual attention of each child, how the teachers are also catering to different subjects, and each subject has their own teacher. And the way you have been doing it, like, I'm sure we should really thank Lawrence sir and all, I mean your parents.
Sir, Sureshnath sir, Rajni ma'am, you take, I think almost all the lecturers during that phase, Rajgopal sir, they've all, just pushed us through our limits. They've just said, go make your mistakes, learn from that, come back, let's sit and talk. So that was always the approach. So I think that's where Aloysius has catered to us, that's where we found what life was. So
now I feel proud being an Aloysian. Sometimes I used to think that how should I feel proud about it, but like after talking to you, I really feel like Aloysius has done a lot for you, and what you are today, Aloysius has helped. And I'm sure your parents, your surrounding, your society, and what they taught you, now you are teaching your students. So now, is it still the 10 students, or are you looking forward for?
We have multiple things. So 10 students is one of the entities that we have. AICT, where we collaborate with schools, colleges at competitive level, is a different one. We have a new, which I told we go to schools, help the children there. We have a complete package of analysis, teaching, learning, evaluation, career counseling, all of it. As a package, we give it to schools. So that new startup that we have come up with it. I mean, it's still, we're in talks with schools, and this year onwards we'll be taking it forward. So that is called ERA. So it's Educational Research Academia. I mean, 10 years down the line, if you think, that's where I wanted it to start. So now finally it has started this year. So
Slow and steady.
Thanks to the kind of team and the friends that I have, so that's with my wife, with my best friend, who's again an Aloysian, Bharat, Ranjan, Shivanandan, Milana, my wife. So I think they were all, right from the beginning, they've all been there. And definitely the teachers, the team of teachers that I have, they said, fine, let's try. Even now they're like, let's try something new. And we have develop that system and see that we need to be successful in order to say, okay, you can also adapt this thing. Only then we can set an example to somebody else. We have to successfully run it first as a business model. Only then somebody else will say, okay, we will also copy them. So at least in that way, children will start getting benefited, right? So we need to work in that sense here.
So it was, I think, it was wonderful talking to you and knowing more about the education today and the different path you have chosen to teach the kids, cater to them. Is it just 10th and above, or you have?
No, we take 8th standard to 12th standard, but we are also working on with students with younger students as well. But now as academics, we cater to 8th to 12th standard. So that's how it is going, including their competitive exams, Olympiads, any kind of competitiveness that they are planning to develop. In the most organic way possible, we try to build it for them, rather than pushing them and saying that pass this exam, score so much, rank so much. So it should be an organic process. I mean, that's what we believe in.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So I think I really had a wonderful time, and I'm sure our viewers will have a wonderful time watching this episode of ours. And more once again, I would say it was really Tare Zameen Par coming live for me when I was talking to you. And as a child, which I could not experience maybe when I was in school, I'm sure there are more, like many through your coaching class, who are experiencing this. And I'm sure there are more, like you all would be inspired to bring a change in this world. So thank you for watching this Campus Eye. Thank you so much, Mr. Akshay Panikar, for joining us. And see you soon next time. Until then, bye-bye.